So one of Quebec's two super scooper planes fighting the Los Angeles wildfires is going to return to the skies today after it was hit by a drone last week. There's a look at one of them in action. Quebec Transport says there are two more planes heading to the U.S. this week. Canada also sending new crews and equipment from Alberta and BC as the return of those strong winds Kelsey's been telling us about threaten progress against the wildfires. For more on the response this morning, we're joined by Alexandria Jones, Acting Communications Manager at the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre. She joins us from Winnipeg this morning. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
The federal government says there are 60 firefighters from British Columbia and Alberta. They're going to get to work in Los Angeles this week. I'm curious, Alexandria, when international help comes to, in this case, wildfires in another country, what roles are they actually playing on the ground in supporting crews there?
Yeah, so when a resource request comes in, it could be a few different things. It could be for aircraft, which we saw through the province of Quebec. It could be for equipment, which is like fire pumps and fire hose, or it could be for people. And in this case, we are sending a number of firefighters down south.
And will our firefighters be working on the front lines of the fire? Will they be assisting in in evacuation orders or an administrative role? What kinds of help do we provide?
Yeah, so our firefighters are specialized in wildland firefighting. And so what we see on screen is something that a structural firefighter would look after. That's the traditional firefighter with the fire truck. They're specialized to look after buildings. Our firefighters are specialized to work in the surrounding vegetative area, so in the trees, on very difficult terrain with very little equipment, basically the pump on your back and some hose.
Wow, yeah, I'm glad you explained that for us because we know Canada just went through one of its worst wildfire seasons on record. And while fires are not new to LA County, it's the volume and scale as to why they're seeking help from us here in Canada and other countries. So tell us more about the knowledge our Canadian fire crews that is specific to fighting these fires.
Absolutely. So our firefighters are definitely not strangers to these really devastating wildfires. Unfortunately, Canada has had a number of serious wildfires over the years. So they're bringing a lot of expertise in fire weather, fire behavior, how to work in difficult terrain. As soon as you get on those hills, fires act a little bit differently. It acts a little bit differently depending on the weather or the vegetation type. Additionally, our firefighters are at a certain training exchange level, which basically means that they are operable with the United States wildland firefighters. So Canada's had an ongoing relationship for over 43 years.
Yeah.
And so that means that we've been working very closely together on these things for a long time.
You know, I know you're watching, and I think at home people are watching as well on social media feeds, crews in LA saying those water bombers that have come down from Quebec are crucial because they're the only kind of planes that can use ocean water to drop on the flames below. So the U.S. government, I understand, has asked your agency to send two more, and the plan is to have them in action this week. Alexandria, what goes into getting those massive planes from Quebec to LA?
Yeah, so basically when we know that there's a major fire situation happening somewhere and that international or national help might be required, we start reaching out to our member agencies across the country to determine resource availability. And so these provinces and territories, like the province of Quebec, are already starting to gear up and get prepared in case a request comes in, like it did for these air tankers. And then basically these air tankers and their crews are ready to go. There's a bit of background paperwork and getting ready to get down south, but they are prepared and just ready to go.
In 2023, Canada and the U.S. came to an agreement, and the purpose was to strengthen this long history you mentioned of helping each other fight wildfires on both sides of the border. California Governor Gavin Newsom has taken to social media a couple of times now to thank Canada for its support in this fight against the fires. What makes this relationship so effective?
It's super effective because it's neighbors helping each other in times of need. And so while we are assisting in California right now, it was only a few years ago that we had about 2,000 American firefighters come up to Canada to assist in 2023. And so having this long-standing relationship is critical, not just for those down in California right now, but for everyone during wildland fire season.
Yeah, just another example of our shared relationship with the United States. Alexandria Jones, Acting Communications Manager at the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Center. I learned a lot from you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.